What about the Jags? The Jags have a Super Bowl winning
Yeah,
quarterback.
that's it.
They do.
I still
Everybody's
think
forgetting about Foles. I seriously feel like I haven't heard anything about him all off season. And then like
that might be
2
the
weeks
best
ago, I was
thing.
like, oh shit, the Jags have Foles. Like he can win games if they're there. You know, when they sneak in the playoffs, people are gonna be fucking scared of the Jaguars.
Yeah. So I got
Nick Foles reminds me of Napoleon Dynamite. Every time I see him, I see Napoleon Dynamite.
He should dress up in the their last preseason game and walk out wearing a Napoleon Dynamite wig in the Vote for Pedro shirt.
And welcome everybody to episode 17 of Sports and Leisure with Hoeflings and Heisure. I am your host, Ty Hoefling, and with me, as always, is Greg Heisure. Greg, how you doing today?
Not bad.
Not bad. Doing good. And we are joined here, first-time guest, my cousin Andrew Hoefling. Andrew, how are you doing?
Good, Ty. Glad I can round out the Heflings for
Good,
you.
exactly. If we're still keeping it Hoeflings and Heisure, we just have a different Hoefling in here
Yep.
this time. So, with most guests, we're gonna ask you a couple questions first. What are some of your favorite sports that you like to watch, and what are the professional sports teams that you root for?
So the only diehard fan I can call myself of is the Dolphins, Miami Dolphins. Started with my dad back in the '70s when they actually won games in Super Bowls.
Against the Redskins.
So and growing up, I rooted for the Cubs. So I always kind of back my mind root for them. I make a couple games, every now and then when I can, but can't say I'm a diehard fan of the Cubbies, but I like watching them once the playoffs come around. So hockey, don't really watch a whole lot, but that's something I would like to get into. I know you guys are big on hockey,
Yeah.
so.
Well, it's tough. It's tough
Yeah.
to get games in Iowa though, or anywhere in Midwest,
Oh,
unless
yeah.
you live near Chicago. Well, I mean, I can watch hockey because in Tennessee we get the Predators for free around here. So that's one of the main reasons I'm able to watch it. So, and also for the first time, Andrew is our first state champion on the podcast. He's got a ring there. Did you win two? I know you won one in high school, but did you win in Pee Wee too, or?
See, we did Pee Wee before they had like the actual trophies and stuff. So we'd go undefeated like every year when we were like, like 4th, 5th grade.
Yeah.
But that was before they had like the sweet like Lombardi looking trophies. So nope, just the one high school one if we're gonna open up the yearbook.
I suppose that one will have to do then. I mean.
Yeah, I suppose.
Okay, well, me and Andrew just finished an auction draft in the fantasy league we're in. I'm not 100% confident with my team. Auction's a very different beast. It's a much different way of going about things than a normal draft, but it was fun. It was interesting, a little slow there at the end, but I liked it. It's not too bad. So
Yeah, for the first time, I think our league did pretty good too. I mean, this pace wasn't too bad until the later rounds, which is probably pretty common.
Those
But
dragged on real fast. It's a lot better when you're doing it in person with everybody instead of on the computer. Because you're doing it in person, everybody can just be like, yeah, give it to them, and you're done in 2 seconds instead of having to wait for the timer to tick all the way down. But, I mean, it is what it is. So, well, we have a jam. You got something, Greg?
No, it's what you get for doing an auction draft. Drafting's stressful enough the way it is. I wouldn't even.
Yeah. I like drafting.
the sad part is, I was
Sounds
actually
horrible.
I was actually kind of nervous for this too. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, let's go. Like, what's it gonna be like? I watched YouTube videos beforehand. I was like, okay, this guy counts down. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, it does.
How many years have you guys been in this league?
Since Ty was in Marcus, I think. So.
No, it was the
8,
first year. It was
10.
the first year after I left. So since 2010, so this will be the 9th year. So
Wow,
it's a crazy league
Jeez.
because nobody's won 2. Everybody's won, not everybody, but every year's a new champion. So nobody's won 2 championships. I won the first one, and I haven't come close. No, I got close one year when I had Andrew Luck, and in the championship game they sat him at halftime against the Cowboys because they were playing so bad, and I lost to Jared by like a point. So
That
Probably because you
sucks.
draft players that are retired. That's probably
well,
what
this was like
happened.
2013. This was like his second year.
Ty had Chad Greenway in his top 5 linebackers.
Yeah,
a few
he's
weeks
just
ago.
that good. He can still bring it out from the house.
Sean Alexander was probably riding your bench too, wasn't he?
It was hard to disagree with him, though, really.
Well, we have a jam-packed episode this week. We're going to be doing our NFL predictions along with our college predictions. So, and that's going to take a while, I think. So we're going to go ahead and go on and get started into it. We're going to start with the AFC East. We'll let Andrew go first. Go ahead and give us 1 through 4 there in your AFC East division.
This is my division with the Finns. For the last 18 years, it's pretty much been the Patriots on top every year. So why not just go with the Pats? I think that's a pretty easy pick.
That's why we went with that
If
one
you're to bet
first.
the farm on anything, it's the Patriots are going to win the AFC East. Unless Brady gets hurt, and it's honestly would still be competitive.
Yeah.
So I'm going Pats 1. Actually got the Jets going to 2nd. I don't think I think they're going to be a little under 500, but this whole division's honestly really weak. My Dolphins at 3rd, and then the Bills at 4th. But the bottom 3 of this they're always through that 5 and 12.
Who you want them start at quarterback for the Dolphins? You want them to give it to?
Honestly, they have nothing to lose by starting Rosen, so I don't know why they just don't go that route. I mean,
just go for it.
Yeah.
Fitzpatrick would be better to watch. He'd maybe win a few more games, but what's the difference between 4 wins and 6 wins? I don't know. So
that's a pretty
I
bold
just kind of hope
prediction.
for
Having
Rosen.
him 3rd.
Yeah. You gotta see what
I couldn't have him last.
you gotta see what Rosen.
The bottom of my heart, I just can't put him last.
I feel you. We'll get to that in a little bit. Greg, what do you have for the East?
For the East?
Yes.
Okay, I got the same. Except for I got the Pats, the Jets, then Bills and Dolphins.
Yeah.
I think Jets are actually be pretty good this year. They might get a wild card spot even.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Chargers could be terrible, possibly. I mean, they were greatly overrated last year, but that's a whole different story. Everyone saying they're going to beat the Pats. Everyone, I don't know. Maybe they're seeing something different. Maybe I watched the wrong Chargers games, but
yeah, I have the same as Greg. I got the Patriots, the Jets. I think the Jets can be, like you said, we're going to be pretty good. Le'Veon, I think he's going to come out and play well. He's had that year off, so he's going to be fresh and ready to go, and he's going to have some haters to prove wrong. And they got what's his name, Sam Darnold. I think he's going to take another step, and they're going to be pretty good. Bills have them at 3, and then the Dolphins at 4th. Sorry, but I think the Dolphins are probably going to fight for the number 1 pick with the Redskins and the Bengals, pretty much, and the Giants.
No offense taken.
Yeah, that's my AFC East. So then we'll switch to the NFC East. I have Eagles winning the division, Cowboys going 2nd. Then I have the Redskins going 3 and the Giants going 4, only because I think the Giants are just that bad. Not because I think the Redskins are good. I just think the Giants are terrible. So that's how I have the NFC East shaken down. A little biased with my Redskins being 3rd, like Andrew, but I think the Giants are just that bad. So, Greg, what about you with the NFC East?
I got the same thing. I think the Eagles are going to be really good.
They can stay healthy.
Cowboys, Zeke's probably going to be back, and they'll be decent.
Yeah.
Skins and Giants, that's a toss-up. But
yeah,
Skins ahead by
But they're probably going to tie it like 3 or 4 games each, and then the Redskins will have like the 5th tiebreaker or something. So
Skins could be all right though. They have a pretty good.
They'll have a good defense.
They have a decent team.
They're gonna have to win games like 16-13 and 17-10. So they're not gonna be blowing people away.
Still counts as a win.
Who's gonna be their quarterback?
Keenum's got the nod for week 1, but probably by mid-season, hopefully Haskins is up to speed and he'll be starting to finish out the second half of the year. So, Andrew, what's your NFC East looking like?
I'm gonna sound like a broken record here. I have the same thing. So I think Zeke, from what I read today, he could be out until October.
Yeah,
holding out. So I think the Cowboys are in hot water there. Eagles are gonna be awesome. I think. Then Redskins. I feel like last year they had so many damn injuries.
Yeah.
But this year they're a little more healthy. But again, not a set QB yet. And then the Giants. I just couldn't believe how bad they were last year. That can't put any faith in them at all.
And they got worse.
So,
No.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was a pretty easy one. Both East divisions were pretty easy to go through. Not too much thinking going on there. So we'll move on to the AFC North. We'll go get the North divisions. Greg, what's your AFC North looking like for this year?
This was the toughest one as far as 1-2 because you don't know what the Browns are gonna do
Yeah.
But yeah, I got the Steelers first. Well, you might have to get back to me, Ty. You go round robin.
Okay.
I've been struggling with this for a while.
Andrew, you go ahead then. Let's give some time to Greg.
I'll finish what Greg started. I'm going Steelers first, Browns second, Ravens third, and Bengals fourth. The Ravens, I just think people have Lamar Jackson. They're going to get his game cued in, and it's going to be tough for him to succeed this year, especially with how god-awful passing he looked like last year. But, I think the Steelers kind of bounced back. They got, what they think is a cancer out of their locker room with Antonio Brown and I suppose Le'Veon. But I don't understand it, but the Steelers just churn out wide receivers year after year after year. It does not matter who's wearing black and gold.
Yeah. And they're late-round picks, too. They're not
It's nuts.
AB was
and the
Browns,
round,
was he?
Yeah. So obviously then the Browns are the most hyped up team, and I caught the hype train a little bit. I think they'll make the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to win the NFC North.
Yeah, I have the same as Andrew. Steelers, Browns, Ravens, Bengals. That was actually kind of easy to me. I think the Steelers are just better out of all of them. They have a more complete team. The Browns, they could definitely compete with them. Maybe even split the series. But they have a tough schedule. People are going to be seeing them coming. And they're still a young team. Emotions can get them. So, next year they could probably compete a lot more for the division. So, but I don't think this year they'll get it. So, and the Ravens and Bengals are just going to be awful. They're going to compete with the Dolphins and the Redskins for the number 1 pick because they're just awful. So, does that help you, Greg? You ready now?
Yeah, well, I don't think they really have that difficult of a schedule. I don't think you can really be in the AFC and have that difficult of a schedule these days. Seems like, but yeah, I have the Steelers winning the division. It's gonna be close. They both might end up going like 11-5 or 12-4. That's what I'm thinking, based on their schedule, and I don't know. They'll probably both lose to the Patriots
and Raven.
They play the AFC East this year, so the Patriots is the only game that's they're gonna play the Bills, the Dolphins. They play the Cardinals.
3 wins, yeah, yep.
So yeah, then I have the Ravens and Bengals just because Bengals they're horrible. Yeah. They might be a first round.
The Ravens could put together some wins. I think they could shock a couple teams, have a couple upsets just because of the way they have an offense. And Mark Ingram, I think, would be a good addition to that team. They're going to run it, 60 to 50 times and have like 100 yards passing every game. So, which can win you games if you can run the ball, you can win some games. So, we'll go on to the NFC North. This was one of the harder ones to decipher and go through 1 through 4. So, Andrew, you want to go ahead with your NFC North prediction?
Sure. Yeah, I agree, Ty. This is one that just had my head scratching, and I know I'm going to piss off some Bears fans here, but I'm going Packers, Vikings, Bears, Lions. I don't know. Something inside me every year just looks at Aaron Rodgers and just like, okay, this is when they're going to go 13-3. This is when they're going to put together. He's new coach. I don't know how much that helps or doesn't help. Maybe just less reins on him. I think the Pack will win this one. The Vikings are they're just right on the cusp, and Cousin doesn't put him over the top, but he just wins games versus losing teams and loses games versus winning teams. So, they're always going to be there 9-7 ish, and then the Bears. I think they were surprised last year. They're going to have to play a first place schedule this year. I didn't actually look at their games, but I think this division is going to beat each other up. Yeah. And then the Lions are honestly not horrible, but they can always steal a game from any of these guys. So this is the toughest division for me to pick.
Agreed. Greg, you got yours?
For me, it wasn't the toughest to pick, but it was the toughest to be sure about. Like, you know, I could pick it right away. Like I picked exactly what Andrew did. I'm not sold on the Bears and Trubisky or his mustache, and I'm not buying it.
Speaking of mustache, did you guys see the Packers dressed up as Happy Gilmore characters?
That was freaking
Aaron
awesome.
Rodgers has Ben Stiller's nurse character down to a T. Like it was great. It was spot on.
Had the handlebars.
Yes. He was even able to mask the fact that he's like a foot taller than the actual character.
He looked good though. He looked real good.
Yeah, he made himself look small, kind of.
Do you have anything to add, Greg? Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, not really. I think the Packers could be really good this year. I'm with Andrew, and new coach that isn't a complete idiot might do the Packers a lot of good. Mm-hmm. And I drafted their running back, so they better do pretty decent.
Well, I went different. I went different with you guys. I went Vikings, Bears, Packers, and Lions. The Packers could win it all. Any one of these teams, with the exception of the Lions, have to have a lot more luck and help. But if Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy, that's really all it is, and you just don't know if he can anymore. I don't know when the last time he played 16 games. But, I mean, if he gets healthy and he stays healthy, he could win the division, no doubt. But he goes down, so does the team. I mean, there's really not much surrounding him.
They got Kaiser as backup now, though.
Who?
I'd like to see that.
Deshaun
Kaiser from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
He was dressed up, too.
But I think the Vikings win it. I think this is like you said, the division's going to beat themselves up. So I mean, the Vikings could win it at 9-7 or 10-6. I just think they stay healthier this year, and the defense kind of steps back up to what it was, so they don't need as much from Cousins. And if Cook stays healthy, they can have the run game. So I think the Vikings can win, and the Bears kind of stay the same where they were last year. I think they're a good team, and if Trubisky takes a step forward, in his third year. They could do some. They can win the division too if all goes right. But that's what I just think. I mean, like I said, tough division to predict. So, okay, that'll be it for the North. We'll go to the AFC South. I'll go first. This is kind of another tough one. I think the Texans, though, pretty much the only one with the best quarterback now with Deshaun Watson, and plus they got a decent defense and they have a good offense. With Lamar Miller.
What about the Jags? The Jags have a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Yeah, that's it.
They do.
I still think
everybody's forgetting about Foles. I seriously feel like I haven't heard anything about him all off season. And then
might be the best
2 weeks ago, I was like, "Oh shit, the Jags have Foles. Like, he can win games if they're there. When they sneak in the playoffs, people are gonna be fucking scared of the Jaguars."
Yeah. So I got
Nick Foles reminds me of Napoleon Dynamite. Every time I see him, I see Napoleon Dynamite.
Gosh.
He should dress up in the the last preseason game and walk out wearing a Napoleon Dynamite wig in the Vote for Pedro shirt.
So yeah, Texans winning division. Then they got the Titans going second. Then the Jaguars and the Colts bringing it up, which is tough. I mean, because the Colts do have a good team. We'll see what Jacoby Brissett if he can keep them at a last place, but that's a tall order. I mean, they do still have a great defense and good surrounding cast on offense, but Andrew Luck was doing a lot with that team that I don't think a lot of other people can do. So that's mine. Greg, you got yours ready?
Well, for me, the Titans are the bastard child of America, so they're going to be finished last place. I'm going backwards on this one.
Okay.
And I think Jacoby Brissett is not, that big of a deal. I mean, changing from Andrew Luck, who hardly ever plays anyway, to Jacoby Brissett isn't going to eat the Colts alive that bad. And, my God, anybody could play better than Andrew Luck against the Chiefs last year. And then I have the Jags second and Texans first, even losing Lamar Miller.
I think you're wrong about the Titans. I think they're going to be... The Titans are always a sneaky good team, like especially on the road.
Yeah, no, I just hate.
Like I bet that Colin Cowherd has been saying this a lot, and I kind of agree with him. That first week, Titans at Cleveland, Titans can win that game. They play much better on the road. They have a good pounded out offense that can eat up the clock. And if the Browns come in there kind of hot and heavy, and they don't really take them seriously, Titans can win pretty easily. So that's just my opinion. Andrew?
No, I agree, but I'm trying to will them into fourth place so I don't have to look at
And now
them.
they have Tannehill as a backup, which is very good compared to what it's used to be. I mean, and their backup plays 3 games a year.
Mariota sucks too.
Yeah. Well, when he
get out of here.
So I could think they'll be pretty good. Andrew?
If Tannehill comes from Miami, the worst team in the league last year, well, debatably. I guess Cardinals are the worst, but I mean, if they're not good enough for the Dolphins and he comes into there and almost beats out Mariota for a starting job, then
He's played well.
I don't know how you can have confidence in Mariota. Yeah, well, because he has the talent to play well, but you being a Dolphins fan, like, I don't know, what is it with Tannehill?
He kind of got a bad shake, I think.
What's the problem?
Well, the thing is, people came
such a bad.
I mean, he shows flashes, and then he makes these, throws on the run that are just incredible. Sometimes you're like, holy shit! Like, how does he make these plays? And like that just gives you the glimpse, and that's what I felt for 6 years, whatever, 7 years he's in Miami for. You see these little flashes, and you're like, all right, like let's go. And then the running joke is like, okay, like next, like this is Tannehill's year, like he's gonna take the step this year. Like everybody always said that, and it was so annoying. But like deep down, I actually kind of believed it a little bit. But then you just see Tannehill make the dumbest throws, the easiest interceptions, and then you just scratch your head. So, I mean, his ceiling wasn't that high, and his floor was pretty low. So, I mean, even at his best, he still. Yeah. I mean, he had one decent year before he got hurt. That's actually not a bad comparison.
He's a good backup. So I think he's a good to have backup, kind of like a Colt McCoy or a Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Colt McCoy
he's probably one of he's probably one of the more
capable
backups.
Is one of the greatest backups of all time.
But I'll go through my AFC South really quick. I just went Texans, Jags, Titans, Colts. I think the Colts lose Andrew Luck back in June. They'd be sitting a lot better. I just think 2 weeks before the season starts. I mean, Jacoby's been in this situation before, so I'm not that worried about him, but. Like Ty was saying, I just think the Titans are a scrappy team, and just kind of like their coach. I mean, it's just they get every other year you see the Titans in the playoffs, and you're just like, what? Like who starts? Like who's any of the defenders? Like you just don't know anybody on their team.
As they appear, they're gone.
It's crazy. They got good running backs, but and 2 mediocre quarterbacks. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, like the Titans make it somehow. You're like, well, how'd they even get? And they blew the Patriots out last year. Was it last year when they won 33 to 10?
So the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, everybody plays the Patriots like it's a Super Bowl because it kind of is.
Well, it was September as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's preseason Patriots,
which will be different this year. They probably won't lose a game till I don't know, end of October at the earliest.
All right, so we all have a little different on the AFC side. That's good. We'll switch over to the NFC South. Andrew, you want to go first on that? Who you got there?
Yep, I think Saints. That's kind of a no-brainer to me.
Yeah.
They're just gonna be awesome again. I think their offense is amazing. Kamara and Michael Thomas are maybe the top at both their positions respectively. 2 Falcons. I think they'll rebound a little bit. Actually, have them as a wild card team. I like Matt Ryan. I think he's undervalued in this league, and Julio Jones is a freaking man. He just puts up like 1,600 yards season after season after season, so he'll get his numbers. Third, I have Panthers, and then fourth, the Bucks. Panthers are one of those teams. Was it last year they were sitting like really good, and they played the Steelers on like a Thursday night or Monday night or something.
Yeah.
And then just kind of got blown out, and then just lost like 8 straight games. Yeah. It's like it just
a very Panther season. They do that. They seem to do that a lot. They come out to like a 6-2 season or 5-2, and just kind of run it down the leg the rest of the year. I have the same thing. Saints 1, Falcons 2, Panthers 3, and then the Bucks. Panthers, if Cam Newton was healthy, I'd probably put a little more thought in them maybe going 2. But I think Christian McCaffrey's great, but the rest of the team is kind of iffy. So yeah, and the Bucks are the Bucks. I mean, Jameis Winston and Mike Evans can only do so much. He's the savior of that team, and I think Jameis Winston kind of brings him down. But he's good when he wants to be. So, Greg?
Jameis Winston could be really good.
Yeah.
but I
Too busy
don't know.
stealing crab legs.
He's kind of too much of a meathead. But I think that's kind of his biggest strength when he played for Florida State, because he could have like 2 defensive ends about ready to take his head off, and seems like the more pressure he was in at Florida State, the more accurate he was, and it was phenomenal. But I don't know. I don't really watch the Bucks. I think their offensive line sucks, but they're what's that?
Oh, I was just gonna, but they're Bruce Arians. I feel like nobody's talking about him either.
Oh, I
mean,
forgot.
think about what he did with the Colts. Think what he did with the Colts when Pagano was sick that year, and then he went to the Cardinals, and they were freaking awesome. And
turn them into.
I don't know. I think the Bucks might be sneaky, but it really relies heavily on Jameis.
Yeah,
and they have Ndamukong Suh now too, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's on a different team every year, ain't
he? Yeah, he is now.
Even with Bruce Arians, I think the best they can do is third. I don't think they can beat out the Falcons or the Saints. You know, if they could split, if they go 3-3 in the division, I think that's a win there for them.
I mean, another thing, and I just know this because one of my good college friends, a Bucks fan, their offense was like put up record
really
numbers
good
last year, and straight up nobody talked about it because they sucked.
Well,
like Fitzpatrick, I know he like put up like those, the first 5 weeks or whatever, he was like on pace for 5,000 yards or whatever.
Well, 2 games I watched with the Bucks.
That's why like Tom Brady isn't a good quarterback to pick, because they're always winning. You want a good quarterback on a team that's always losing and has to throw it 50 times a game,
Yep.
Yeah.
I had Winston and Mike Evans on my team last year, so
I drafted the Saints defense.
Sorry to interrupt.
I drafted the Saints defense last year, thinking first game they're playing the Bucks. Ryan Fitzpatrick is starting the quarterback. I'm thinking I got at least 5 points. Nope. Fitzpatrick goes off, throws like 500 yards. I get -8 points from the Saints defense. And then when the Redskins played the Bucks, Fitzpatrick threw for like 400 yards or something like that, but they still somehow lost that game. But yeah, like you said, they had a good offense. Just the defense was petrid, and I mean, like you said, Jameis, if he could have a career year, they could be pretty good. So
yeah. So I have the Falcons, Saints, Panthers, Bucks.
Ooh.
I think the Saints aren't as good as they looked last year, and I think the last 4 games showed when Drew Brees looked like dog shit, and they can get over that pass interference call, because the drive before that, they face masked Jared Goff, and it would have been 1st and goal, but they ended up kicking a field goal instead, and they had the ball in overtime. So let's not talk about that anymore, even though I'm the one who brought it up, but I just had to say it.
I think the Saints are the only ones still bringing it up.
Yeah.
So you get the Falcons. That's good. So have that done. Move on to the last divisions. AFC West. Greg, you want to go first on that one?
AFC West. Okay, I got the Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, Broncos. Pretty simple. Raiders might overtake the Chargers, but as long as I can remember, the Raiders have never been very good. So I just, doesn't matter who they have. I don't really expect much more, but I'd like to see it. I like the Raiders, but go on.
And
I'll jump in. I did Chiefs, Chargers. Oh man, Greg, you're kind of talking me into this. I think I'm gonna go with the Raiders and then Broncos. I had Broncos and Raiders, but I don't know. I don't know if it's something about them being on like Hard Knocks, like they have a little more like talk about them this year. But
yeah,
I've been seeing like people have these videos of AB like on Twitter and stuff. I'll be scrolling, he'll run this route and just completely just trash this defensive back. I'm like, oh my god, like how can anybody cover this dude? So that coupled with, I think, is it Josh Jacobs, a rookie running back? Yeah, I think he'll be solid. I don't know. I really like Gruden too, but I think the Chiefs will win this division no matter.
Game, but
yeah, they do. I still think the Chiefs got this division though.
Two of the best safeties in the league too, or the best, like one of the best safety duos. I feel like. But
I have the same thing. Chiefs.
What do you got, Ty?
Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, Broncos. I was kind of high on the Chargers, but it seems like every week something happens. Melvin Gordon out, and then they lost their safety. But I still think they're a good team. They have, that Austin Eckler dude. He can come in and kind of fill in for Gordon, which he did. And kind of like Elliott, he could come back after 8 weeks or something like that, so he can still get paid, which would be a nice addition. I just can't trust the Raiders. I mean, I just can't trust the Raiders. Their defense is awful. You don't know what percentage Antonio Brown is at mentally and physically. So, and I think just the Broncos are just that bad. That's why the Raiders are going to beat them. Broncos don't really have much to.
Broncos suck.
They're kind of they're in the start of a rebuilding, I think. And
if there's any team I hate more than the Titans, it's the Broncos. I don't really hate the Titans. I just don't like them in my presence.
Unless Flacco can go back about 8 years, and I don't even know who else receivers the Broncos have besides Emmanuel Sanders.
That Philip Lindsay, their running back though, the undrafted kid. I had him on my fantasy team last year. He was surprisingly good. I sat him the first week or two, I think. Then the third week, I'm like, all right, he's putting up numbers. Like the second snap of the game, he punched a defender in the face mask, got ejected.
He's going to run the offense.
But
he's
going to be. He's a
decent
decent back.
Yeah, he's going to be the number one option. I think he's going to run the offense. It's going to go through him. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think we all had the same thing for that one. So we'll move on to the last one. NFC West. Greg, you want to go with NFC West first?
Okay, NFC West. This one was hard for me. To me, this is harder than AFC North. Because you just don't know what the 49ers are going to do. With that being said, I think I have the Rams winning it, even though I think Jared Goff sucks. And I think he proved that to everybody just watching him. I mean, my goodness. But Seahawks second, 49ers third, because I don't know how Garoppolo's going to do. Cardinals fourth.
Yeah, that's what I had. Rams, no doubter. Put that in there and pin. Seahawks too, just because I think Russell Wilson, he's kind of like Aaron Rodgers, but he can stay healthy. He wills his team to win. He has the capability to get them to win. I think their team's finally starting to build back up after they lost everybody from those Super Bowl teams. The running game looks to be better. The offensive line looks to be better, and the defense is kind of getting back to where it was. So I think they could be pretty good. And like you said, the 49ers, if they can stay healthy, they can maybe put their hat into the ring there for that. But even still, they're not going to beat the Rams. So, and then the Cardinals are last just because, I think they'll be an interesting team to watch, but they're not going to be winning too many games. So, Andrew?
Actually, I went Seahawks. We're going to win this one.
Oh.
I don't know, something. Yeah,
I can't disagree with you at all.
This Super Bowl hangover, it affects, especially for the losers. It affects them. Can't explain it, but I just feel like the Rams might struggle a little bit. I still haven't making the playoffs, but I went Seahawks, Rams, 49ers, which 49ers are going to be a fun team to watch, I think, now that their starting running back and quarterback are both healthy. And then Cardinals. Cardinals are just atrocious. So Kyler Murray makes it maybe a little interesting, but he's got to get somebody to block for him.
Yeah.
Same with David Johnson.
Yeah.
See, the Rams are number one just because I don't have that much faith in the Seahawks. They just seem to be a 500 team every year, and Rams defense is so good they're going to keep them afloat. And Cooper Kupp is back, so
just had a breaking ESPN notification. Fitzpatrick has been slated starter for Week 1 there for the Dolphins. So
damn it! I just looking at that too, Ty. I mean, it's like I said before earlier. He'll be fun to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, if Rosen's not ready to start, that's I guess up to our head coach. But maybe he'll sit for a few games. I just don't see the upside in starting Fitzpatrick unless they legitimately think
they can do something.
For me, I trust anything Brian Flores decides. I think that dude is a saint.
Yeah.
I think he kicks ass. He's like the Charlie Strong of the NFL to me.
I'm excited for him. I think he knows what he's doing. So I'm not going to question it. So I guess Rosen's just not ready yet, and if they struggle, he'll be in there eventually down the road of the season. But I mean, whatever, Fitzmagic, baby, let's go.
Sometimes it's better not to have your young guy start the season.
You don't want to throw him in
there's so
too
much
soon.
expectations, you don't even know what the team's going to look like. So if he gets to come in and all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, he's doing a little bit better than this guy, then it's a big burden off his shoulders. So like
I said, you don't want to throw him in too soon and get him the jitters or the skips or whatever you want to call it, the jips, what do they call them in baseball?
Yips.
The yips. Yeah, you don't want to give him the yips Because I mean,
But like I said last week, Peyton Manning was drafted high, and he won like 3 games his first year. So there's that too. I mean, sometimes you gotta throw him
yeah,
in the fire.
I think Peyton could withstand it though. So all right, we'll move on to the playoffs. So my buys. So for the first round, my buys are the Chiefs, Patriots, Rams, and Saints. Pretty much kind of what they were last year. So those are my first round buys. So the wild card round, I got the Eagles over the Falcons. So Eagles win the East, and the Falcons make the wild card. And then I got the Bears getting the other wild card, but beating the Vikings, who win the division. So that's my upset there for that. And Steelers over the wild card Titans. I have Titans win the wild card, and Chargers getting the other wild card, but beating the Texans. So that's my wild card round. Andrew, you want to go with yours?
It's gonna be an ugly looking bracket for you come December time.
I'm sure it's gonna be for everybody.
All right, I'll start off my wild card matchups. I'll start at the top here with the Chargers versus Texans. I have the Chargers winning that game. Then I have the Browns versus the Steelers. A little division matchup in the playoffs, which seems to happen quite a bit. And I have Pittsburgh winning that one. Moving over to NFC, I have the Rams versus Packers. I have the Rams winning that one. And then for the last wild card one, I have Atlanta at Seattle. I got Seattle winning that one. So nothing too crazy, I don't think. A lot of the same faces as last year, besides I guess the Packers. But
Greg, what's your?
You saving your Super Bowl prediction?
We're gonna go round by
What's
round.
going on here? Oh, that's all the first round.
Okay. So go your wild card round.
I was looking at my stuff rather than paying attention, I guess. I heard Andrew's AFC though. What was your NFC again there, real quick, Andrew?
I have the Rams Packers with the Rams winning, and then the Falcons Seahawks with the Seahawks winning.
Oh, okay. Well, I have the first round. I have the Texans, which I had as division winners, playing the Chargers. They will be the worst wild card team, and I think, so Texans would. It might be reversed. I don't know. Who cares? Then I have the Browns Steelers, just like you. And then in the NFC, I have the Packers versus the wild card Cowboys, and the Saints versus the wild card Seahawks.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I thought about putting the Cowboys in there. In fact, I put down them at 6, but then I crossed it out just because couldn't do it. I just couldn't allow my break.
Cowboys have like one of the best.
They do.
Rosters
They do have.
NFL.
They do have a good team, I think, but I just couldn't do it. As a Redskin fan, I can't actively hope they get into the playoffs. So, Greg, you want to go ahead with the second round there with the division?
Second round, I have the Texans beating the Chargers to play the Patriots. And then I have the Browns beating the Steelers to play the Chiefs. And in the NFC, I have the Packers beating the Cowboys to play the Eagles. And then I have the Saints beating the Seahawks to play the Falcons.
Is that your first round?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
that was the wild cards.
Well, I told you the winners of the first round. I just told you who was in my first round.
Okay.
So I'm saying who they're going to face.
Okay. Well, who's won the division round?
As far as like,
who's going to be? Okay, just tell me who's going to be in the conference championship games.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Well, I have the Pats playing the Texans, and then the Chiefs playing the Browns, and the Chiefs and the Pats winning to play each other.
Okay.
In the finals.
And the NFC?
Okay.
In the NFC, I have the Eagles beating the Packers, and I have the Falcons beating the Saints.
So you have the Eagles, Falcons, NFC championship game.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Andrew, go ahead with your second round.
All right, my second round, I got the Chargers and the Patriots with the Patriots winning, and then the Steelers Chiefs with the Chiefs winning. So that's AFC Championship, same as last year. New England, Kansas City. I think that's a pretty good safe bet. I think NFC. I have the Eagles over the Rams, and then the Saints over the Seahawks. So We got Philly versus New Orleans, which I think would be an awesome match. I really like Philadelphia this year, but yeah, we'll see.
I have the same AFC with you. I have the Chiefs over the Chargers, Patriots over the Steelers. Then in the NFC, I have the Rams over the Bears, and Saints over the Eagles. So I just realized I had the same conference championship as last year, which probably isn't going to happen. But
Well, I don't
it's
know.
too late. Yeah. It's hard to put anybody else in there. I mean, those 4 teams are just the steps ahead of everybody else, streets ahead of everybody else. It feels like so. Conference championship. We'll do conference championship and Super Bowl. So AFC, I have the Chiefs beating the Patriots. They'll get that home field advantage, which I think would be nice, and they'll get the monkey off their back. They'll beat the Patriots. Then I have the Saints beating the Rams, kind of like what you mentioned earlier, Andrew, with the hangover. And the Saints, I think they got 2 or 3 chips on their shoulder with bad calls. I think they're going to come out and leave it. I think they're going to blow them away, actually. I think it's going to leave no doubt. And then in the Super Bowl, I have the Saints beating the Chiefs, and the Saints going to win. And you know what? Even more bold prediction, Drew Brees retires afterwards.
Oh, really?
Wow. Okay.
So Saints are winning it all, you're saying?
Yes, which is a safe pick, in my opinion.
Well, I have just found that I have some inconsistencies in my division rankings and my playoff bracket. So let's go ahead and bump the Rams down below the Seahawks. Yeah, Rams 3rd place in that division.
Okay.
I don't even know how I feel about it, but I had my playoff bracket before I had
your division
figured exact
out.
Division ranks. I just decided who's going to win and who's going to the wild card, and so we're going to go with that.
That's fine.
Which it could be. That division's a big toss-up.
Yeah. So who's going to the Super Bowl, Greg, and who's winning?
Well, I have the Pats and the Eagles rematch. Pats over the Chiefs, Eagles over the Falcons, and Pats winning.
Does Tom Brady retire?
I think the Eagles are going to be incredible this year, and
they can be.
I don't know. I think Tom Brady plays for the Titans next year. I'm just kidding. I would hate that. If he went to the Broncos, though, that'd be a problem.
Tom Brady's not going to wear the uniform.
He'll probably play next year.
He's going to be a Patriot for life.
I'm with you, Ty. I'm with you.
For life.
I agree, too.
Then you just,
He will be a free agent after this year, though. First time in his career.
For what, 12 minutes?
An unrestricted free agent.
Yeah. Andrew, go ahead with your...
Well, you never know. It's 42.
Well,
Stidham looks pretty good as backup.
I'll sound like a broken record once more. I'm going Saints over the Chiefs, same as Ty. But I would not be surprised. I think the NFC is going to win it this year, and I think it's either the Saints or the Eagles. I do like the Eagles, like Greg. I don't know what it is. That'd be an insane Super Bowl, I guess, with the Chiefs and Saints. And I don't know. If Drew Brees wins, I could see him retiring. You're right, but I don't know. He's such a competitive dude.
Yeah.
I don't even know what his contract situation is. I guess I'd have to look into all that stuff. But he's got such a young, talented team. I could see him pulling an Elway and try to go back to back.
It'd be hard for him to want to quit with, when you have Kamara.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's true. He could be a Peyton.
But you guys are just having sympathy for the losers last year.
A little bit.
I know. I hate how they reacted.
Well, I think I'm not gonna say sympathy, but it does play a part.
I
think it does play a part. It played a part in my decision making because this has happened to them 2 years in a row, and they've been on the doorstep. And they could have beaten the Patriots last year, I think. So they're going to come out, I think, hot and wanting to get over the hump.
I'll say one thing: Carson Wentz and Patrick Mahomes are the 2 quarterbacks of the future in this league.
Yeah.
And
so nobody's going to argue with that.
Who's your MVP?
MVP?
Go ahead, Greg.
I got Carson Wentz.
If he could stay healthy,
he would have won it. He would have won it that year when he tore his ACL.
Yeah, he was ridiculous that year. Yeah, Andrew.
Might be.
I'm gonna knock all these out before I take off here. So most valuable player, I went Breeze. I think last year he had a really good shot, but Mahomes just had too many touchdowns. It was insane what Mahomes did last year. He definitely deserved it last year, but Breeze was definitely in second place in my opinion. And then you also said rookie of the year. I've got an offense and defensive I just want to separate them. I think Josh Allen for the Jaguars is going to be a freaking beast. And this is literally going off of a preseason game that I watched versus Jaguars and Dolphins last week. I think he's super fast. He actually kind of slid in the draft. I was surprised I want to say he's like 7th or 8th overall. I thought he was going to be a top 3 guy. I think he's going to be awesome in the Jaguars defense. And then a little bit of a homer pick here, but I think David Montgomery for the Bears, the old Iowa State alum. I think he's going to be starting. I think him and Cohen are going to be pretty good ground attack.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd be cool to see Montgomery go over 1,000 yards, but that's
apparently
also asking a lot.
Guy's dark horse this year.
Geez.
I tried to trade for him, but
it
wasn't happening.
And then the last 2 things. The worst team. So who's getting the first pick next year? I'm going with the Bengals.
They need it.
I don't think with AJ Green's hurt, and I cannot name a single player on their defense.
So
maybe that's a fault of my own.
Tua?
Yeah, probably. Any one of the quarterbacks is better than Andy Dalton.
You really want the pick next year.
That's
to get
true.
Clemson's
Yeah. Or Trevor Lawrence, whatever
You're right.
he comes out.
Sunshine.
So
you're absolutely right. And then you also asked first coach fired.
Yes. Which is a tough
I'll
one.
spice things up a little bit. I'm going with Jason Garrett.
Ooh.
Oh.
Cowboys.
Yeah.
I think he's been mediocre for too long. I think if Zeke holds out until October, they're going to be – and I know they have a talented team, but I think if Zeke holds out to October, they're not going to start very well. And if they go – even if they go 8-8, I don't know. I think Jerry's got to let him go. I think there's better guys out there.
Yeah.
I think they'll be very good this year as top 5 defense.
That's what I thought about Jason Garrett.
They've been riding that for a few years now, too, I guess. But
So, well, Andrew, you got to leave. You got daddy duties to take it. You got how old is Hannah? She's a couple months. Is she 2 months old yet, or she?
She's almost 3 months. So, if you have any advice, Ty, you're the seasoned vet.
I got nothing. I mean, it's just get used to waking up at 3 a.m. to make bottles and whatnot. It's just, ooh, boy, it goes by fast. Like they said, I got a 1.5 years old, and now Nova.
You just need to hang a bottle in the crib.
Yeah, now Nova's almost 6 months old. So it's crazy. But before we get you out of here, what is your favorite Little Debbie snack cake?
Oh, Little Debbie. Are Cosmic Brownies Little Debbie?
They are.
Oh, yeah. There it goes.
Okay.
Cosmic Brownies. I don't know what is in them. I feel like they could last for like 10 years. They're kind of like Twinkies, but then they're like, then you open them up and they're like kind of greasy. I don't know what it is, but I love those freaking things.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
And dense.
Okay, well, Greg, you got so you can bounce whatever you want to, Andrew, but
all right. I just appreciate you guys having me
no
on.
problem. We'll get you back on.
We'll have to,
at the end of the year when we roast everyone's predictions.
Yeah. Well, obviously we'll have to have you back on
Sooner
for
than
the
that,
come up and show. So.
Alrighty, guys. Hey, then we can talk a little bit of leisure too.
Yes. Talk more. Okay. Well, appreciate it. So we'll talk to you later, man. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, guys. Peace out.
Okay, Greg. For my MVP, I have Patrick Mahomes. Rookie of the Year is going to be Kyler Murray, just because there's really no. I mean, him and David Montgomery are going to be the only guys I think that are going to fight for it, because you have to have an offensive one, and those two are really the only offensive guys that were drafted. And my first coach fired, I'm going to go Jay Gruden, which isn't really his fault, but something's got to give. And I'm with Andrew. Bengals have first pick next year.
Who's Bengals coach right now?
I don't know what his name is, but it's not Marvin Lewis. It's his first year, so they'll give him a year or two.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
So
I really don't have good answers for either of these things. There's no offensive players this year. I think the Giants quarterback, if he gets a chance to play, he could get Rookie of the Year. Ty Montgomery's up there.
Dang.
So I don't really have a prediction.
Well, okay. So that's it for our NFL predictions there. Like Greg said, we're gonna have at the end of the year episode to go over everything that we have. I had mine written down, and obviously we have our recorded voice. And Steven, he's not here tonight, obviously, but he's got his in, and we're gonna put his in there right now. So Steven, Through the NFC, he had the North Division. He had the Vikings winning the North Division, followed by the Bears, Packers, and Lions. In the NFC South, he had the Saints winning the division, followed by the Falcons, Panthers, and Bucks. NFC East, he had the Eagles, followed by the Cowboys, then the Redskins, and then the Giants. And in the NFC West, he had the Rams, Seahawks, 49ers, and then the Cardinals rounding out that division. For the AFC North, AFC East, he had the Patriots, followed by the Dolphins, which is kind of a bold prediction, and then the Jets, and then the Bills to round that out. AFC North, he had the Browns winning, followed by the Steelers, Ravens, and then the Bengals. AFC South, he had Jacksonville Jaguars winning the South, Texans coming in second, and then the Colts, and then the Titans to round that division out. And then finally, the AFC West, he had Chiefs, Chargers, and then the Raiders and Broncos, which I think most of us all had. So his playoffs are looking like the NFC, he gave the Saints and the Rams the bye weeks, followed by the Vikings and Eagles, third and fourth respectively. And he gave the Bears and the Packers the wild card. In the NFC, he had the Patriots and Chiefs, 1 and 2, getting the first round bye. Jacksonville and the Browns get the third and fourth. And then he got the Steelers and the Chargers with the wild card. So he didn't really give any predictions on those. I guess he's just waiting to see more. We'll redo those when playoff time comes. But those are Stevens. Sorry about that.
I think it could be Jay Gruden too, but I really there's so much coaching turnover right now that
exactly.
I really don't know who's there and who's on the bubble, and I don't really care enough to make that prediction.
Okay.
I should have looked into it more.
Okay, Greg. Quickly, we're going to go over our college football playoff prediction. So you have your 4. You want to go first? You want me to
go? You better go.
Okay. Playoffs, I got Clemson in number 1 just because they're preseason number 1. I don't think they're going to lose a game, so they're going to go in number 1. Same thing with Alabama. They're going to go in number 2. So Clemson, I have them beating Oregon. I think Oregon's going to make that 4th seed. I think they're going to have a good year. But Clemson's going to destroy them in the playoffs. And I have Alabama beating Georgia. So, and then I have Clemson over Alabama.
So Clemson, Bama, Georgia.
Yeah, Clemson over Oregon,
Oklahoma.
Bama over Georgia,
Oregon.
and then Clemson over Alabama.
Wow,
and
Oregon.
Trevor Lawrence for Heisman.
Okay, well, I think Notre Dame will beat Georgia week 3, and I think Georgia will lose another one in somewhere along the line. And I'm not sure how the SEC is split, but I think Auburn has a good shot of being in there too. I don't know if this young quarterback can do well, but I don't know. I have Clemson number 1, Notre Dame number, I guess, Alabama number 2, Notre Dame number 3, and then this is where it gets tough. The 4th team.
Yeah.
I really don't know who else.
Because it's going to be a surprise. Somebody that nobody really thought.
I mean,
it
could be Oregon. Well, really, it's going to be a Big 10, Big 12.
Any O team,
school.
Oregon, Ohio State, Oklahoma.
Yeah, I think Texas could be up there too. Texas, they're playing all Big 12 teams. They could roll all that.
Yeah.
And
they just don't play games that they're supposed to win. They don't play those games. Like they'll come up for their Red River rivalry, and they'll play really big against that and any other big name school. But when it comes to Appalachian State or Texas Tech, they don't like to play out.
So I'll have Clemson, Bama, Notre Dame, and Texas. We'll go with that. Texas number 4. So Notre Dame would play Alabama. They beat Bama. Then Texas loses to Clemson. And Notre Dame beats Clemson to win the title.
Solid.
Yeah, I don't care.
Solid. Well, we're not with this jam-packed episode. Not really going to have a leisure topic this time. Even though I did ask Andrew a question, I'm going to ask Greg the same question: what his favorite Little Debbie snack cake is. So
I don't know. I don't like really any of them anymore. I used to eat them like crazy.
Which ones?
But I don't know. Or Swiss cake rolls, Little Debbie. I like those and oatmeal cream pies and
yes, ho-hos. I call them ho-hos. They're not Swiss cakes, but
they're not
yes.
ho-hos. Ho-hos
no,
are
ho-hos.
disgusting.
They're the
Swiss
same
cake rolls
thing.
are delicious.
They just changed it from ho-hos to Swiss rolls to be politically correct.
No, a ho-ho is one of those stupid
no, that's
round,
a ding dong.
Like things
that's
with
a ding.
filling.
That's a ding dong. A ho-ho and a Swiss cake are the same things. But I think we can all agree that the raisin cream pie is the most disgusting thing. We have the raisin, the one with the raisin cream, it's like an oatmeal cream pie, but it has raisins in it. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
But the cosmic brownies, Swiss rolls for you, Greg,
zebra stripe
are good.
Cakes.
Yeah, and the zebra cakes, all delicious. So, well, anything you want to add, Greg?
Oh, not really. I'm not very comfortable with my predictions because they weren't even. I don't know. They were inconsistent with my bracket.
It's tough.
So
it's tough to do that. I mean, because everything in the NFL changes so much. Gosh, dang, hiccuping. I mean, next week something could happen that could throw off the whole thing. So it's tough to predict, but it's fun to predict. And since football hasn't started yet, this is all we can do. So
yeah, I just really like Seattle teams, and I like Russell Wilson. So
well, anybody listening, please send us in your NFL predictions. We'll put it against ours, and at the end of the year, if you have a good one, we'll definitely give you a shout out on the podcast. Maybe even have you come on as a guest to kind of rub it in our faces that you did better. So if you want to do that, you put it on Facebook, follow us on our Facebook group, or you can send it to us through our email at sportsandleisurepodcast@gmail.com. Follow the account on Twitter. Give us 5-star on iTunes. Comment on there. You tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Leisure activities that you want us to go through. Any and everything. There's no wrong answer when you want to send us feedback, because we'll take it and we'll put it towards it to make you a better podcast. Because that's what we're here about.
And we're aware that this probably wasn't that entertaining because it's just people rattling off predictions mostly, but it needs to be done because at the end of the season we need to be able to roast each other for our terrible or excellent predictions.
Agreed. You gotta have it on record.
We're on the right side.
Gotta have it on record.
So it'll provide further entertainment later on.
Well, next week we'll start with we're gonna go through and do game by game predictions. Greg, Steven, and I. We're also gonna have a group on ESPN, so anybody that wants to join, they can join us and play against us in NFL Pick'em games, which I think should be fun. So, like I said, thanks.
We'll just pick like the first top 5 games, right?
We'll probably do all the NFL games. We may do
what?
like 5 college games. I'm not sure yet. We'll have something, but I'll let you guys know. Hope you guys have a good week. This time next week, there'll be a game on when we record. So NFL is a week away. It's gonna be exciting. Hope you guys have a good week. And hope you tune in next week to episode 18. Hopefully the original trio will be back and ready to go. So, like I said, have a good week. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Sports and leisure Hoeflings and leisure sports and leisure Hoeflings and leisure sports and leisure with Hoeflings and leisure sports and leisure Hoeflings and leisure sports and leisure Hoeflings and leisure. This is sports and leisure with Hoeflings and leisure.